I would be remiss without talking about the man who succeeded you in Pittsburgh, Bill. And I was saying here, I'm as the biggest Tomlin fan there is, and I'm seeing Andy Reid in his second act, right, to leave the state of Pennsylvania, find another spot after it did appear that maybe things had run out of steam in Pennsylvania, and seeing what he's doing. And I'm wondering if Tomlin's thinking the same thing or should think the same thing based on what's been going on there, which is success, but not the ultimate success that Steelers fans and Tomlin expects. So what's your opinion of the future, Mike Tomlin, the Steelers, and everything that is going on in Western PA, Bill?
Well, I will say this. No one is more frustrated or disappointed in how the season ended than Mike Tomlin. I will say that, too. I was in there earlier this year and did a sit-down with Russell Wilson. They've made some tweaks. They've tried to make some changes on the staff, and maybe there'll be more to be had. But I know for that man right there that winning championships is what he is all about. And he's not going to run away from anything. He's not going to be pushed out of anything. He'll have more resolve than he's ever had before. That's just who he is, and that's how he's wired. That being said, there's going to be some uncomfortable conversations that they've had to have. And I know that Art Rooney will be a part of that. Omar Khan will be a part of that. They'll sit down and look at what their options are and have a plan moving forward. I think it starts more so than a quarterback position. I think it's got to start with that defensive staff. And philosophically speaking, where do we go from here? Then when you talk about it philosophically speaking, where we go from here, then you start to assemble the people around you that you can plant into those pieces into that puzzle. So again, I think they got a chance to get away. I think the worst thing you could do is make rash decisions and not be hasty in doing that. Remove the emotion. And I think that that's what happened last week. And I think as they came back this week, there'll be a lot of those conversations you're going to have. They'll have to have a vision that's aligned and have to make whatever change they deem needs to be made to get a different result. And that's basically how you're going to go about it. And again, I'm not sure what those conversations are. I know one thing, it starts with the coaching staff first, then make the decision with the players. So that's where they have to be. They have to be aligned. They have to make that decision, and then you start to move them forward with what your options are at quarterback, what your options are in free agency, decisions you have to make on your own free agents coming up, who's out there and the other thing. Then, get ready for the draft. It's very busy this time of year. I know he embraces that part of it, and we'll see what happens in the next couple of weeks because I think it starts with the whole coaching staff.
If you don't mind pulling the curtain back, what is it like to have a difficult conversation with the Rooneys? Because I'm sure you had them, you had to have had them, right?
Yeah,
I mean, and they are the platinum standard. If that might even be devaluing the precious metal in terms of the standard of patience and continuity. But what is it like to have a conversation, a difficult chat with the Rooneys? Bill?
You know what, Rich? It's total transparency in a room. And it's not being hurt by someone's feelings, not being hurt by disagreeing with someone. Sitting there and talking about what's in the best interest of your football team. Recognizing there have to be some, you're going to have to have some collaboration between you, which means some sacrifice on everybody's part to walk out of that room with a collective agreement with what that decision may be. So, there's things you have to say. There's reasons for it. As you watch it, why were these things not done? Why were these things certainly done? I think those things, I know when I was there, were talked about as we were doing them. But a lot of times you just don't have the opportunity to sit back and look at the thing collectively because you're working week to week. And so I think it's very important that the GM and Omar and Mike have a relationship, and I know Art will have a relationship with them. And so you all sit down and sit back and reflect right now on what happened, what went wrong down the stretch to lose those 5 straight games. Is there anything we could have done differently? Is there anything moving forward that we feel like that we are holding back on? So I think there's a reflection that takes place. There's got to be a vision that's also there with where we are, a realistic vision, and then the necessary changes that need to be made. So again, those are conversations that are had more than this one day. It's on a collective day because you start to ponder and start to reflect on some of the conversations you have on the previous day. You let them set in and say, okay, well, I thought about this more. Okay, but if this happens, there's a repercussion. So there's always choice, repercussion, what's the consequences of that? So all those things, all the hypotheticals that we don't deal with in the media, Those hypotheticals are all discussed in the back room of these meetings.
Catch the Rich Eisen Show every single day on the Roku channel, 12 to 3 Eastern, for free.